Today on the CTV News at 5, Lethbridge's homeless census figures are out. Why numbers have dropped by almost 30% in the last year. Plus, the former head of the Taber Police Commission given jail time for accessing child porn is appealing his sentence. And
good boy!
Driving dogs, Fido finally gets behind the wheel.
CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The latest homeless census in Lethbridge shows a significant drop of people who are sleeping in the rough or using the Lethbridge emergency shelter. Now, the count was done back on October the 3rd, and it identified 5 people sleeping outdoors, 94 using the shelter. As Terry Vogt reports, the numbers have dropped steadily over the past 5 years.
For the past 9 years, the city has conducted a homeless census during the month of October, with more than 140 volunteers covering the city, trying to identify people living without a home, those staying in shelters, on the streets, in the coulees, parks, or sleeping in vehicles. This year, the census was conducted October 3rd, between 7 and 9 p.m., providing a brief snapshot to compare with previous years.
The numbers are showing that our programs are having a very positive effect on dealing with the homeless issue in our community.
Agencies say the latest homeless census shows the approach of housing first is having positive results. The number of people using the emergency shelter or other agencies has continued to drop over the years. The number of absolute homeless, those who are living outdoors, has also dropped significantly, down 50% in the past year alone. Since 2008, the number of absolute homeless, those who are staying outdoors, has dropped from 72 to 5 this year. The number of people in the emergency shelter has also been on the decline, a drop of 25% over the past year. And staff at the shelter say they're seeing fewer people with complex needs.
They're being better supported in the community, have now gone into their own accommodations with wraparound community support, and it seems to be really working because we're not seeing them return to the shelter.
But despite the progress, agencies say there's still work to do. And this latest census confirmed an issue that was first identified during Project Connect, a disturbing number of families and children impacted by homelessness.
The night of the count, we had 17 children who were in emergency housing.
Our homeless situation in this community is not just about the individuals that people see downtown. We have children and families who are at risk of homelessness.
Agencies say the census shows there's a need to focus some of their efforts on dealing with the whole family spectrum, not only the individuals we see on the street. Terry Vogt, CTV News, Lethbridge.
Now, the census determined that almost 40 adults in Lethbridge have been homeless for a year or longer. 623 households are currently on a waiting list for housing and subsidy services. A provincial inspection into municipal operations in the Crow's Nest Pass, as we told you last week, is expected to start in the new year. 2,500 Pass residents signed a petition asking the Municipal Affairs Department to intervene and overturn some of the decisions made by the council and administration. The Crow's Nest Pass Ratepayers Association delivered the petition to Edmonton November the 1st. Associate Municipal Affairs Minister Greg Weddick spoke to us today about it, and he says he expects staff to begin their inspection as soon as they're available after Christmas. Weddick says it's important to act quickly to remove doubt.
Our role is really just to go in and support both sides, to work with them to find whatever resolutions there are and to see if there are any issues or problems that can be corrected. If under the MGA, if there are some issues that we need to correct, but it's really working with both sides to find solutions.
The Ratepayers Association was informed a week ago that the petition was sufficient. The association is concerned about taxes, rising fees, and the mass resignation of the volunteer firefighters over the dismissal of a longtime fire chief. Some powerful winds blew 4 semi-trucks off the highway northwest of Pincher Creek today. The big rigs blew off the road this morning on Highway 22, also known as the Cowboy Trail, near Maycroft, which is just north of the Highway 3 turnoff. Police and paramedics were called out when winds gusting to 100 kilometers an hour blew the big rigs off the road. Police say it was so windy that they could hardly stand on the road to investigate. Fortunately, the truck drivers were not seriously injured. Truckers and those towing safety trailers were urged to stay off the road until the winds died down. Wind warnings were in place for the Crow's Nest Pass, Pincher Creek, and Waterton for most of the day today. Okay, let's talk about those wind warnings for a second, Dory. Those ended around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Are we going to see more wind coming back, or are we going to see some snow on the way?
We are talking mild temperatures for the next few days. Jackie, actually, an area of high pressure is trying to make its way into southern Alberta. We do have a chance of seeing some light flurries tonight and again tomorrow, but as you'll see in the 5-day forecast, temperatures, well, we're certainly not in the deep freeze. I'll have more details coming up in a couple of minutes.
Okay, thank you, Dory. Well, investigators now believe that an engine malfunction is what caused a CF-18 fighter jet to crash at the Lethbridge Air Show more than 2 years ago. The Royal Canadian Air Force investigation just released its results today, and it's concluded that a number of factors contributed to the crash, adding the engine malfunction was likely the result of a stuck ratio boost piston. During a practice for the International Air Show on July 23, 2010, the CF-18 Hornet lost thrust in its right engine as the pilot was attempting a low-altitude pass. The pilot, Brian Buse, managed to eject just moments before the jet slammed into the ground nose first and burst into flames. But Buse was dragged several hundred meters after his leg got tangled in his parachute and his chute re-inflated before it could be released. The Air Force says it will be upgrading that particular model of airplane, and it's made changes to the conduct of CF-18 air show routines. It's also improved the air show training program. Well, the former head of the Taber Police Commission is appealing his jail sentence for accessing child pornography. In May, 43-year-old Curtis David Parody was sentenced to 90 days in jail to be served on weekends. Back in 2010, Parody posted as a young man online and convinced a teenage girl in New York to perform sex act for the internet. For the luring, the married father of 3 has been sentenced to 12 months house arrest, a 6-month curfew, and 2 years probation. He was also ordered to complete counseling for his addiction to pornography. Today, Parody appealed the sentence in a Calgary courtroom. His lawyers say that a number of mitigating factors were ignored in the sentencing, including that he took full responsibility for his actions after immediately being contacted. A Lethbridge lawyer has been named the province's first property rights advocate. Lee Cutforth has been appointed to the position for a 3-year term starting today. Cutforth, a Lethbridge-based lawyer with over 25 years of experience, including residential and commercial as well as real estate law, will have an office in Lethbridge. And the city will be purchasing 5 low-emission diesel transport buses to replace some of its aging buses. The city was originally planning to buy more hybrid diesel-electric models, but officials have raised some concerns about the reliability of the hybrids. The city bought 5 hybrid diesel-electric models back in February, but they've had problems with some of the buses and they've spent more time in the shop. Based on a recommendation from the administration, City Council has decided to revert to low-emission diesel-powered buses in 2013. The new buses will cost about $2 million. They'll be funded through provincial and federal grants. Well, a local church Christmas production helped to generate over $31,000 for the city food banks. The Evangelical Free Church held 6 performances of Christmas at Grand Central Coffee Company during the weekend of November the 30th to December the 2nd. Almost 4,800 people attended, making it another huge success. Since 2007, over $130,000 has been raised for the Interfaith and Lethbridge food banks.
It's huge. It's amazing that they do this for us every year, and it continues to grow, so that's phenomenal. We have a pretty strict inventory control that we do here, so not only will this help us at Christmas time, but we can carry that money forward to the new year as well. So it helps us, you know, last year we didn't have to make a purchase until March.
About 150 people were involved in the E-Free Christmas production. Art and horses have always been part of Diane Williams' life, and we have more on this inspiring Southern Alberta artist in tonight's report from Farm TV.
Photography, painting, and horses have been a part of Alberta artist Diane Williams' life since she was a small child.
And when I was actually 5, my parents enrolled me in an art school that was local in Chilliwack, British Columbia. And instead of watching early morning Saturday cartoons, I was whisked off to this beautiful little art school and got to throw paint around and really, really enjoyed the painting process.
From the age of 12 until she was 16, horses were a big part of her life. After finishing university, Diane became an art teacher. Then several years ago, horses again entered her life.
I had a series of accidents and I ended up not being able to walk for about a year and a half. So I decided, well, I can't walk. I'm going to start riding again.
The horse also became the focus of her art.
So I started painting really beautiful, vibrant canvases of horses and looking for the spirit of the horse and the feeling and the emotion that was coming out from the horse. And that's what I start to portray in my painting.
2 years ago, she decided to begin painting full-time. Some of Diane's work is on display at the Against the Grain Gallery in Netton, Alberta.
Farm TV is brought to you by DA Building Systems.
To another animal story, there's now a custody battle brewing over Darwin, the Toronto IKEA monkey. He's in a sanctuary now, but his owner wants him back. CTV's Austin Delaney spoke to the woman today who calls the animal her son.
Home video of Darwin with his owner Yasmin Nakuda, and a very different picture today outside her house. But the primate is now living in a sanctuary north of Toronto after being rescued Sunday by Animal Services. Darwin has been dubbed the IKEA monkey after he escaped from his cage and wandered into an IKEA store. He was wearing a faux shearling coat and diaper and has become an overnight media sensation.
But this weekend in Toronto, a tiny monkey. This is true. A tiny monkey wearing a winter coat was found wandering around an IKEA. There you go.
Nakuda, a real estate lawyer, says she wants her baby monkey back.
If I walk into that room, let him choose. Does he want to come to me or want to go to that other monkey mom?
But staff at the primate sanctuary say that won't be possible. Darwin is not a pet.
The coat is gone. The harness will be gone shortly. The diaper is gone. Let's just let him be who he is meant to be.
Darwin, hey, look, what are you doing?
Nakuda, who bought the monkey a Christmas outfit, is not giving up without a fight.
I'm going to get him. And he's going to wear it.
How are you going to try to get him back?
And then he'll have lots of pictures for you guys. How about that?
That'd be great.
Help me get him.
Fantastic.
Let's put it on him and let's have him for Christmas.
I think the important thing is we recognize him as an individual and we see him for who he is. He is a monkey, he is a macaque, and so we will work with him on his life.
A life outside of the media spotlight, living with other monkeys.
Animal rights groups say Darwin has formed a very unusual bond with its owner, and that will make it harder for him to adjust to being a normal monkey. Time now for the markets.